Thank you, Bill. Well, meanwhile, the Senate received a classified briefing on Ukraine yesterday, and our next guest was there. Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas is a member of the Intelligence and Armed Services Committees. What can you share with us that you learned yesterday?
Well, Dana, I can share that it was a deeply disappointing briefing, but frankly, it's consistent with what the Biden administration has been acting on for the last 2 months. They seem more concerned about Ukraine winning than about Russia winning. We've heard from senior administration officials consistently that they fear the most dangerous result would be Ukraine winning because that would back Vladimir Putin into a corner. They're still scared of Putin rather than seizing the advantage that the brave and skillful Ukrainian army has gained and helped Ukraine win and make Vladimir Putin afraid of Ukraine and afraid of America and afraid of NATO. That's why we should be moving faster to provide the Ukrainians the weapons they need to defend their own territory and ultimately take that territory back from Russians.
Senator, I know what the truth is, but here were the questions of the president yesterday about what we're hearing, what we believe to be happening there. Roll this, guys. Call for it.
Mr. President, what is the danger of Putin being left in the dark by his military advisors?
I'm reluctant to comment.
Can you comment on the declassified intelligence that he doesn't trust his military leadership since it is declassified?
No, I can't.
What do you believe the truth is about this redeployment? What do you believe the truth is about the intelligence Putin's receiving from his inner circle?
Bill, I don't think Vladimir Putin is left in the dark. He can see what the rest of the world can see with his own 2 eyes. His plan to immediately seize Kyiv and topple the Ukrainian government in 2 or 3 days last month was foiled by President Zelensky and the brave Ukrainian army and the Ukrainian people resisting all across the country. They are not retreating from Kyiv. They are simply regrouping and reloading, and they're prepared to launch a major offensive in eastern Ukraine. At the same time, they're leaving artillery pieces and missile batteries in range of Kyiv to continue to terrorize its people and to try to strike government installations. That's why it's time for the Biden administration to stop pussyfooting around. They continue to split hairs about what's an offensive weapon and what's a defensive weapon.
Yeah.
The simple truth is, Russia invaded Ukraine. Ukraine is defending its soil. Every weapon Ukraine uses is, by definition, a defensive weapon.
Wanted to ask you about sanctions because about a month ago is when President Biden said, well, we'll have to see how the sanctions do in a month and how effective they are. We've seen that the ruble has actually gone up a little bit, and it doesn't seem like the sanctions are having as immediate effect as they were advertised to do. So was that part of the briefing yesterday, and are more sanctions to come?
Well, what they discussed at the briefing yesterday is also what we've heard in other settings, and frankly what they're saying publicly, Dana, is that they are elevating the process goal of maintaining unity between the 30 NATO members and no friction over the substantive goal of putting pressure on Vladimir Putin. That's one reason, for instance, why one of the largest banks in Russia remains largely unsanctioned, remains able to communicate through the international payment system known as SWIFT, because some of our European allies don't want to take those steps. America needs to lead and tell those nations, along with the majority of NATO nations, that we have to pull out all the stops to ensure that Ukraine wins this war.
Last question, Senator. $500 million in direct aid to Ukraine. Where does that go? Does it help?
It can help, Bill. A lot of that is going to go to help support these refugees and the humanitarian relief going in. But what Ukraine needs more than anything, again, is the weapons to stop Russian aircraft and missiles raining down from the sky and to reverse armored Russian columns that have invaded their territory. If we provide Ukraine more arms, Ukraine will have the ability to rebuild in the future. For now, we have to focus on winning the war, not managing defeat, which seems to be the president's mindset.
Senator Tom Cotton, thank you. There was a briefing yesterday, and you're gracious to come on this morning and tell us a little bit about it, and we'll stay in touch with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.